Today I am in Rhode Island, the smallest state in United States, but it is so interesting and contains more mysteries and treasures per square meter than any other state in the country. Guess where I am? Roger Williams Park in Rhode Island, right in Providence. I am in front of the cottage of Betsy Williams, the great-great-granddaughter of Roger Williams, the founder of Rhode Island. And this ground is very interesting, very old. She built her cottage in 1773, year after Rhode Islanders burned Gaspee, the hated British ship that was used to enforce taxation. And what many believe that 1772 burning Gaspee was the beginning of American Revolution. So a year later here Betsy built her cottage. So let's take a look. So as we approach here to the grounds where Betsy Williams and her sister lived, they lived here till 1871, in which year Betsy bequeathed the property of 102 acres and the cottage to the city of Providence, which became the foundation of Roger Williams Park. So it's very interesting place here. Let's take a closer look. It's fully restored, as you can see. Let's see what the plaque says. There we go. Yep, 102 acres. And then the actual park consists of 430 acres. But this was the foundation of the Roger Williams Park, the 102 acres that Betsy Williams donated to the city of Providence. Look at this enormous tree. So it is on a hill, which is interesting. They had a nice view. So let's take a closer look. Let's see what's on the other side. That's the other side of the cottage. Let's peek inside the windows. Let's see if we can see anything on the inside. I don't know. Here's a closer look at this massive tree right next to Betsy Williams' house. As you can see, there is pretty nice view from that hill. But right behind, right next to the cottage is Roger Williams himself. Let's take a closer look. So there is several monuments of Roger Williams, and my understanding is they never knew what he looked like. So his face, I know on one of the monuments, I don't know if it's on this one, is the face of Ted Williams, the famous baseball slugger. Roger Williams arrived in Boston 11 years after the pilgrims landed at Plymouth. So he arrived on February 5th, 1631, with his wife Mary. So He preached at first at Salem, then at Plymouth. Um, he was a chaplain, and he was fairly controversial figure because he thought the state and the church should be separated from each other. He was controversial enough that the locals wanted to ship him back to England, so he had to run away. And he did run away to Rhode Island, where he purchased the land from Narragansett chiefs, canonicals, and mayan tsunami, and named his settlement Providence in thanks to God. So he made actually two trips back to England during his lifetime. The first one was in June or July 1643, was to obtain a charter for his colony to forestall the attempt of neighboring colonies to take over Providence. He returned with a charter for the Providence plantations in Narragansett Bay, which incorporated Providence, Newport, and Portsmouth. During this voyage, he produced his best-known literary work, Key into the Languages of America, published 1643. I don't know if you knew that. But that made him the authority on American Indians. So on his return, Roger Williams started trading post at Cokansassac, which is now North Kingston, where he traded with the Indians and was known for his peacemaking between the neighboring colonists and the Indians. But again, colony affairs interfered, and in 1651 he sold his trading post and returned to England in order to have the charter confirmed. So he was basically defending Rhode Island from the neighboring Massachusetts and Connecticut trying to take over Rhode Island. So not only he has founded Rhode Island, but he successfully defended from the neighboring states. And so we have survived. Rhode Island is obviously state right now and alive very, very well, except for some corruption, of course, that's going on. And guess what is right across from Betsy Williams' house? Casimir, English version, Puwavsky, Polish hero, Polish general who came to fight for American freedom. Casimir Puwavsky was promoted to brigadier general by US Congress in 1777, and he had an incredible military talent and experience, and George Washington really appreciated that, having him next to him. And yes, he became the father of American cavalry. So Powavsky landed in Boston in 1777, eager to join the American Continental Army to fight the British. He unfortunately had to wait to be officially enlisted, as General George Washington informed him personally. He said to him he needed the approval of the Continental Congress before joining. Undeterred, Pulaski refused to wait for official approval before jumping into one of the most important battles of the war at a critical moment, the Battle of Brandywine. As the British forced the Americans off the field on the 11th of September, Washington realized to his horror that the right flank of his army was about to collapse, potentially causing a general rout and destroying his army. In a flash, Puwavsky volunteered to countercharge the British and give the Continentals time to withdraw in good order. With no time to argue, Washington entrusted Puwavsky with his own mounted guard, about 30 in number, and watched as the Polish volunteer led his band directly into the fray, delaying the British long enough for the Continentals to retreat and possibly saving Washington's life. For this gallant deed, Congress immediately commissioned him as a brigadier general with the honorific Commander of the Horse. He also took part in Battle of Germantown the following month. I thought this was interesting little capture of Puwavsky's career in American Continental Army. Are you enjoying this program so far? Then if you have not already, click subscribe so you won't miss any new vital information.